Okay. All right. We'll just see how it goes. We might have to cut and start over again, depending on how he's doing.
He's doing fine. Welcome to another exciting episode.
Living well together, big life in a small town.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you feeling like you're living a big life today?
I am living a big life.
Yeah.
Well, what day is it? Are we telling people that we're recording on Sunday?
Go right
telling
ahead.
them?
Yeah.
Because it's Sunday afternoon.
But it's still Thursday today.
So we're
for you guys.
going to bust this out so that Graham can make sure it's rendered and edited and all this stuff is done.
Just a little extra time.
If I'm being honest, I'm just in a hurry to get out of here because we're all going to go for Old Scratch Pizza. We're going to have the Old Scratch people on here.
I know, that would be really fun.
See if we can get some kind of...
If you haven't been to Old Scratch, it is definitely worth a try. They have several locations now. They have what do they call it? Firestone pizza.
I'm not sure what they call it. I just know it's delicious.
It's delicious. They have all different kinds, but
Salads
they also have delicious salads.
Great
and
beer
they
list.
have great hummus and they have vegetarian specials that they do.
Yeah.
They have they've done like the
We're not getting
roasted
paid for
carrot.
this. Why are we advertising for these people?
I know. Well, I guess because we were thinking about how delicious it is. And I was
can't wait.
thinking of
So
all
the
the
longer
delicious
you blather
things.
on about it, the longer this is going to take. Let's get out of here.
So we were going to just chat about, you were away last week. I was away last week.
We had some
and
New Year's travel.
We did.
And we don't usually go separate directions, but this time
No,
we did.
same exact dates and everything. Lily and I were flying out of Columbus. You were flying out of Dayton on Thursday. Then you came back on Sunday, and so did we.
Sunday night. Yeah.
And you were down at Sherman.
Yeah, Sherman College of Chiropractic in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
And you guys
They kind of run all that together. It's not Carolina. It's Carolina.
Very good, babe. Awesome. I love all your little accents. And,
Well, that's just how they say it. I didn't invent it.
do they really say it like
Yeah,
that?
South Carolina.
Huh, okay. Maybe my ears.
Unless you go slightly north of there.
And then what do they say?
Take
Carolina.
North Carolina. You fell right into that. I love it.
I know. I've
So
always
much.
been so gullible.
And you were in Orlando.
Yeah, but let's talk about your time at Sherman. Because you're going down there every couple of months because you're working through
Doing
chiropractic
they have
philosophy?
they have an Academy of Chiropractic Philosophers. Yeah. And so some of it's online homework and some of it you got to be on the campus and with a group of people for the purpose of just really having a better, deeper appreciation and understanding for the history of and the mindset that initiated this thing we call chiropractic.
Yeah.
So, it is wonderful. It's a little, there's a lot of myth and mystery and mysticism about what is chiropractic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of, did I say misinformation? Myth, mystery, and misinformation. That's kind of where we're at. And everybody has their own perspective. Anytime I tell somebody I'm a chiropractor, it always evokes one of two emotions.
Yeah.
It's either horrible and
Horror or
yes.
delight.
Or chiropractic helped somebody or saved my life or whatever. So there's not a lot of middle ground. But anyway, when you look at the roots of anything, excuse me, the history and the philosophical underpinnings of what is chiropractic, because it is the philosophy, science, and art of things natural.
Right.
And does it have to do with the spine? Yes, it does. It has to do with misalignment in the spine that may be interfering with mental impulses, not just nerve flow. Nerve flow everybody gets. If you pinch a nerve, people understand it might be uncomfortable. But mental impulses are actually the things that originate in the brain that come from an innate intelligence that guides and directs kind of most of the universe. So when you look at the intelligence in the system, and whether you think that was from a loving God who knows every hair on your head, or whether you think it was from a big explosion in the universe a billion years ago, one of the things that we have to agree on, from a scientific perspective even, is that the universe is a really, really intelligent place. And the organizational strategy involved, like birds always know which way is south for the winter,
Right.
or apple seeds always know how to turn under the right conditions, turn into an apple tree. You can't plant apple seeds and get tomatoes, for example. And so when you look at the intelligence in the universe and you understand that it isn't all living matter, All the same atoms and molecules that make up this table make up your liver.
How can that be? I mean,
they're just organized differently. And so there's a universal intelligence in everything. There's universal intelligence that's holding this computer together in this shape and form. And so living things, though, beyond universal intelligence, have an innate intelligence, an inborn, onboard, computerized, if you will, mechanism for keeping them alive. And so when you look at why chiropractic is going to be designed to study the things that make people alive and keep people healthy.
Right.
You know, traditional allopathic medicine doesn't look at that. Traditional allopathic medicine looks at what it is that makes people sick and how do we fight sickness, which is very different than a more salutogenic mind of how do we, this thing's intelligent. It's built to be healthy. If it isn't healthy, something is interfering with what might be otherwise normal function. So in chiropractic, we are always looking to get rid of interference to the innate intelligence that's running the show, pumping your heart, digesting your food, thinking your thoughts, managing your vision and your hearing. It is the flow of impulses through the system that separates live people from dead people. So we're just going to focus on that intelligence.
Yeah.
And we focus on the spine because that's where that intelligence flows, is through the nervous system. And so any interference at the spinal level can change the relay of information to and from the brain. And it affects the intelligence or the direction of signals that keep us alive. So anyway, it's fun to study deeper into that.
Well, I was going to say, you know, you are hands-on with that every single day, but being able to dive deeper, just revisiting the why behind what you do every day.
It's
It
wild.
has to be pretty powerful.
You know, and when you look back, chiropractic was discovered by the Palmers in 1895. And D.D. Palmer was a colorful character, born in Canada. Well, back, this is the Wild West.
Yeah.
And what's now the Toronto area is where he was born. But again, back then, you know, people are living in stick houses and log cabins in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And his parents left him and his brother in that area, in the wilds of Canada, when he was 11. They moved to the United States. They immigrated to the U.S. And again, back then, you didn't just get in the car and head for Iowa.
And you told me this the other day. They were 11 and 9.
And 9 years old. So imagine leaving
Your
our
parents
children when
just
they were
left them.
Now
Were they with grandparents?
They might have left them with aunts and uncles. I don't really know.
Okay. I mean, I'd love to think that was the case. Like they didn't just up and go.
Well, and then
leave
a
them
few
to their
years
own
went by,
devices.
though, and the boys decided they were going to join their parents. And it took them 2.5 months to get from the Toronto area to Iowa on foot.
That is just wild.
I mean, and so part of what I really appreciate about learning these things is the toughness of people we're descended from, not just in chiropractic, but when you look back at our ancestors, even here in the U.S., or when you look back to medieval times, I mean, these are tough people.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're descended from tough people. And we've gotten a
pretty
little soft. Like I'd get a little cranky if my seat heater quits working, or, you know.
Well, on the way over here, it was getting too hot.
Yeah.
And-
So, you
and
know,
what did you say? You're
imagine
gonna start
walking in the
smelling?
wilderness for 2 months and, you know, you had to follow a path or a trail and there was no, you
Well,
couldn't,
and
you
did
didn't
they
just
even
stop
have a
at
path or a
Buc-ee's for a quick coffee and a shower.
I know. It's hard for me to imagine.
I've been going down to Sherman College periodically for that
and you
reason.
so your last thing is coming up, what, in May? You have
May.
to have a thesis written?
Yeah, it's a thesis paper
then
that I'll have
what
to
is-
defend in May.
What does that mean, defend?
Well, you've got to put some thoughts on paper, and you've got to use references and resources, and I think it's like 25 to 30 pages long, and it has to be a concept. You have to be able to say, here's what I'm suggesting, and here's the reason by which I think it's valid to suggest. The title of my thesis is, Will There Be a Chiropractic Tomorrow? And, you know, depending on how you look at it, be from a historical or a political or a results-driven, I mean, there's a handful of things that would suggest we need to get some of our toughness back, or there may not be a chiropractic tomorrow being absorbed into traditional mainstream medicine is what happened to the osteopathic profession pretty much. And I don't know whether that was good for them or bad for them.
Yeah.
But as a basic premise, they are pretty well now absorbed into a system that manages sickness only. And so with a few exceptions, you know, they're hearing more about functional medicine people now. Or
Yeah, I feel like osteopathic doctors are more leaning towards that functional medicine arena.
There's a handful that are, but their
Okay, but
education is not that. If they want that, they've
So
got
they
to
have to go further
outside
on.
their
Okay.
traditional
It just
teaching.
seems like the foundation that they got or had before the, you know,
Well, AT Still developed osteopathy right around the same time Palmer was developing chiropractic. And Still's deal was the osteopathic model revolved around vascular flow.
Okay.
So life force being in the blood, which is not wrong.
No, that's
But at the end of the day, without an intelligence guiding and directing the system by way of the nerve system, blood would not flow. So at the end of the day, the real supreme system in the body is always going to be brain and nerve system because it guides and controls and directs the flow of information from heart and cardiovascular things to lungs and livers and digestive things. And so AT Still developed that osteopathic model with some validity, but again, they were pretty well absorbed into the Rockefeller's system of here's what we're going to teach you, here's what we're going to learn, and here's how we're going to deliver it to the world. So, and again, there's a place for that. There's 100% a place for that. But studying and managing disease is very, very different than studying and managing the management of health. What keeps a person healthy? You know, if you think back even through the pandemic situation, even through the lockdown situation, you were told to stay in and hide from germs. You were told to wear your mask. You were told to get these injections. You were told, you know, if you got this disease, you are not going to make it. But if you get this disease, we're going to give you these toxic things to kind of help curb it. And nobody on the evening news, nobody on the television, nobody through the airwaves was talking about here's how you keep a body healthy.
Right.
Here's what you do to remain healthy. Here's the things you do to fortify health. And anybody who did do that was actually shut down.
Yeah.
And canceled
And there
out.
were a lot of people that happened to, but
Right.
keeping everybody in fear, which was making it even worse.
Right. Yeah, you keep people kind of ignorant and kind of scared, and they're very, very manageable. You can talk them into staying home. You can talk them into being non-essential. Can you imagine your job being non-essential? Like you go to work every day.
Is it your job, or does it make it feel like you're non-essential?
The reality is people were told their contribution wasn't essential. Even though it's how they put food on the table and it is how they contribute to society.
Right. I mean, it's just...
I think every person is essential and every job is essential.
Absolutely.
And so, but again, things were kind of separated out and fear was the main driver of most of that stuff. And nobody was saying, here's how you stay healthy. Nobody.
Well, they were, but they were being shut down.
Yeah.
There were, I mean, you guys were.
The evening
and there
news,
were lots,
mainstream media was not going that direction because they weren't allowed to go that direction.
Exactly.
A whole separate conversation as far as propaganda and the way information
And
flows.
a lot of that is coming out now that we have a new administration and really more truth is coming out about
anytime the guy who was running that show had needed a blanket pardon for crimes he's not yet been accused of, that says something. And so, more will be revealed later. If we had the magic 8 ball, that's what we need for the podcast. We need the magic 8 ball so we can shake it up and then you tip it. Some of these guys don't even know what that is, but it gives you answers to questions. Mysterious questions can be answered. And if we had the magic 8 ball, it would say, more will be revealed later.
Yes, but I'm thinking that's completely not biblical. So,
no.
Yeah, it's like fortune telling.
No, it's just, okay. You could be right.
What does the magic 8 ball say?
Yeah. Lisa's a loony. So let's talk about your trip. That's enough about my trip.
Well, the thing that I loved is that, okay, so I was down with Lily. We were in Orlando or Kissimmee. Is that how you say it?
I'll be kissing you.
Kissimmee, Florida, at Margaritaville Resort down there. And it was so much fun. We were with our whole team.
A work trip at Margaritaville.
It was a work trip at Margaritaville. Yes.
We're all going for that.
No, it's the truth. Yeah, you can see all of our pictures. It was phenomenal. We had a back-to-back leadership summit and full field retreat that it was just so incredible when we can bring our team together and be face-to-face, give out those hugs, learn from each other, inspire each other. But I loved that we were both doing things that align on, with our wellness journey.
Well, and getting people together for a conference face-to-face is a huge deal because that also didn't happen for 3 years.
Happen. And it's harder and harder for people to be able to do that. And so just being so grateful and thankful for everybody that showed up and was there participating. It was great.
There's a lot of people that couldn't or can't or won't.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, like if you're having a party and nobody was, or people were dropping like flies, it's easy to think, oh my gosh, nobody wants to come to my party.
Yeah.
And I know you guys had some people that you wish could come and couldn't come. They're for a variety of reasons. You just can't be two places at once. But you know what? I think the right people always get there.
I think that's
like even if you're missing some key folks, the people in the room make the energy in the room something that can be just so special. And it doesn't have to be about the number of people. It needs to be about the quality of the people showing up.
And that's what it felt like to us, is that the synergy of the people in the room was the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
I've been part of Crunchi since 2017. Our first retreat was
Schooly Wabbit.
was 2018. And then, we missed one or one and a half in there because nobody could be in person. So, I've been to a lot of them, and this one was by far the best. And I do think it's because of the people that were in the room.
Energy, intelligence.
Crunchi Corporation, they are, they're kind of getting it down to a science. They're knowing what really feeds the field. And
So what would it take to get Kelly and who's the other Crunchy boss?
Kelly and Melanie, Kel and Mel.
What's it going to take to get them up here on our podcast?
Well, if we could figure out how to do virtual podcasts.
No, I want them in the neighborhood.
Well, maybe they will. It depends on how we do
Get Lily in here and just bring them all. Make it a big Crunchy game.
Can we do that, Graham? Get 5 of us in here? Yeah.
Well, if it was you, Lily, and Kelly and Mel, that would be.
Yeah.
I could sit out.
Okay. You could sit on the other side of the table and ask questions. That would be funny. At his desk.
Like a game show, and I'd be the host.
Yeah. No, I would love for them to be on. I think that they do podcasts, and I think it would be fun.
Well, they have a mission too, though. They are on a mission.
Absolutely. And they're kind of bringing us along for the ride. When they started Crunchi, they could have just done wholesale retail in department stores and made it that type of a business. But they had been in direct selling, and they knew how powerful that can be to share the mission one-to-one with our family and friends.
So,
and so they were determined to set up the company that way.
And we'll put a link to this just so people can poke around a little bit. But what is it? Because Crunchi, if you don't know what Crunchi is
Toxin-Free beauty company.
Yes, toxin-free beauty. But again, the average person may or may not know what that even means.
Yeah. Well, which part? The toxin-free
Why
part?
is there a need for toxin-free beauty?
Yeah, because...
Why would the marketplace even want to contend for toxin-free beauty?
Well, the toxins that are in conventional products are creating endocrine disruption and cancer and some of the big diseases that are out there now.
Which products? Give me some
Toxic
specifics.
products. Let's just say pretty much anything that you can buy in the drugstore or the department store.
For what purpose?
For makeup.
I'm talking about what are the products?
You want me to... See, I hate naming names.
It doesn't have to name names. Things that colorize your skin, your lips,
like
your
foundation.
eyes. I want to take the mystery out of that. Like we're not like.
So we're
let's
talking about
pretend we're talking to people who are
moisturizers,
in
eye
kindergarten.
creams, any kind of serums, all of those things. Those are all part of our Crunchi collection. And what makes Crunchi different than a traditional brand is that they are very carefully sourcing ingredients that are organic or safe synthetics that create a product that's luxurious, effective, and without toxins.
Okay.
That's not going to disrupt hormones and make you sick.
Wait a minute. You're telling me, again, if I'm the average guy here listening and he's driving in his car and he's like, my wife loves makeup. I love it when my wife wears makeup. She puts makeup on every single day. You mean it might be wrecking her endocrine system?
It might be wrecking.
I don't know anybody who talks that way.
But it could be wrecking her hormones. And what you would see in that regard is she's moody. She doesn't want to have sex with you. She is uncomfortable. She has hot sweats in the nighttime, and is just overall uncomfortable, And that's what, as a man, that's probably what you would see. And before I started using Crunchi, I was one of those women.
This is true. Fact checkers say this is true.
except for the mood part. I was always nice, right, babe?
Oh, so nice.
So
much niceness.
No, I was really struggling.
Every day of the month.
Yes. Like for 2 years, I was doing all the right things and didn't realize that it was the things that I was using on my body that were creating those types of symptoms.
And people don't think that way.
They don't
to be
understand.
Fair. Everything that goes on your skin
Yeah.
goes in your system. I don't care if it's chlorinated water.
Yep.
I don't care if it is the gasoline that spills onto your hands when you're, working on an engine. Everything that goes in. Deodorant, shampoo, makeup for sure, creams, oil of whatever.
Shampoo. Yeah.
All of it. It
Fragrance.
has so name 3 ingredients that people should look for before they smear something on their body. What are 3 poisonous things that everybody could look at?
Fragrance is the easiest one to identify.
So if you see anything on a bottle that says fragrance, what does that mean?
That means that it is likely has phthalates in it, which are phthalates.
P-H? P-T-H?
Yes.
Phthalates.
Yes. Yeah. And then, there's phenoxyethanol is another one that's in there. And like anything that it's going to be, propylene glycol is another one. So
propylene glycol is an antifreeze.
Yeah.
That's what keeps it from
But
freezing.
there's so many. Like if
I wanted
hundreds.
a list of these things, where would I get it?
I'll put a link because I have a document that can take you to receiving this list. And it can just be sent right to you.
Here's a little story about this.
Yeah.
Because you hosted an evening here in the office a few years ago, and there was a documentary called Toxic Beauty?
Toxic. Yeah, Toxic Beauty.
Toxic Beauty. And so she's hosting an evening, and there are probably 25 or 30 gals here in my office space. And I was out and about running some errands. I didn't want to hang around for the girl party. But I popped back in, just into the back of the room, probably midway through this documentary. And it had congressional testimony from the 1960s in it about the fact that makeup companies know they're poisoning people. They know that the ingredients are carcinogenic and toxic to human health, but they won't take them out because there's no regulation from the government.
Exactly.
And the only way they can get any kind of a awareness of it is when somebody sues these companies.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll think about taking it out. But we've made so many people so sick for so long that everybody just thinks it's normal. So all these cancers that are on the rise, all of these just hormonal nightmares for people, they have an awareness that this is being created, and yet the industry. How much money flows through the beauty industry a year? Do you know?
Billions of dollars. But the 2 others that I want to mention are talc, because that is linked
And that was a huge deal with, who was that? Was that Johnson & Johnson? Who did this?
Yes,
Who
Johnson
got sued
& Johnson.
for the talc
Yes,
thing?
they did.
Yep, baby powder. Baby powder.
Exactly.
Toxic.
Yeah. And it's the talc in there because it has asbestos.
Yeah.
And it creates uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, and it's been directly linked to that.
And so do a lot of makeup products have talc, foundations, things like that?
A lot of different ones do have talc in them. Powders especially are the challenge there. And then the other one, I was just thinking, anything that has a paraben. So a methylparaben, polyparaben, there's multiple ones of that. Parabens have been found in 99% of breast tumors. Oh. And so when you're rubbing these creams that have parabens on them, the link to that is pretty significant too. So
my theory on that, just to kind of tie this in from the intelligence of the universe standpoint, is that tumor growth may actually be a protective method of the body, like surrounding and isolating parabens and things like parabens.
Yeah.
So those cells cancer may actually be a protective mechanism when you've overpolluted yourself.
Right, because that's what this comes down to, is the body burden that we're under right now because of the toxicity, not just in beauty products, but in everything that we're eating and drinking and breathing.
Right.
It's everywhere. So beauty products are a simple, safe swap that takes at least one of those elements out of the equation.
And I know you have done an extraordinary amount of homework and have probably links or lists or things that people could tap into.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's lots of that type of thing. But Crunchi changed my life. And when I realized that it made that much of a difference in 2 weeks of safe swapping, I had been a Clinique rep. I was a Clinique loyal customer. And
I used to love watching you work at the Clinique counter. When we started dating, she was a Clinique rep. And in the Lazarus stores around Columbus.
Yeah.
And I would know that she was working, and I would kind of pop in there and just watch from a distance.
He was a little bit of a stalker. I would see him and he was like standing on the side of a big pole or something. Pillar.
Anyway, you're a clinique rep. So you have been aware of the beauty industry for quite some time.
But didn't realize how toxic it was and how much of a fast change it could make. But also not just from the inside, but from the outside. Like I am so pleased with the way my skin looks at 60 years old. Like it really has made a difference.
Yeah, I won't argue.
Yeah. They have youth activating serums and creams, and they've just been phenomenal. And I love Crunchi for the products, but I love it so much for the community.
Okay.
Like being at retreat was, it's just,
you've met some wonderful people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like really dear friends that whether Crunchi was around or not, I will be friends with them forever.
Right.
And the opportunity to help girls stay home with their babies from a business perspective and financially being a part of the income that's brought in to their household, even just for us.
I got to tell you, when you started fiddling around with this, I'm like, yeah, babe, you do whatever you want. And, if you make enough money to take us out for pizza once a month, that'd be awesome. And now I could basically retire.
You wouldn't, because you love what you do. And that's one of the great things is the purpose and passion for both of us, and the things that we do are very aligned as well.
Whether we made tons of money at it or not would be irrelevant.
Exactly.
We're both living a purpose. There's no doubt.
But it was one of those little things that I started doing that became this really big, wonderful thing. And it was surprising to me, but it was also just a very big blessing too.
Yeah. Hard to argue.
Yeah. One of the things that they're celebrating their 9-year anniversary. Wow. Their Crunchiversary.
And you guys have been connected for 8
years.
8
years.
Gosh.
Yeah. Okay. They had pretty much just started like when Lily and I enrolled, Lily enrolled, and then I was her first advocate. I signed up immediately because this just aligned so well with the lifestyle and with the nutritional clients that I was working with, because so much of it was about detoxing, and you can't just detox without taking a look at everything that you're using in, on, and around you. So, oh, wait a minute, where was I going with that?
I'm not sure. 8 years?
Oh,
9
8 years. Yes, 8 years. So they just had gotten a website when Lily and I enrolled. Like they were using, to take orders, they were using paper and you would fax it to them or call in the order and then get it. Like it's come that far. And now they've got a wonderful system, a gorgeous website that...
Crunchy.com? With an I? Crunchy with an I?
No, actually, I have a special link that they can use.
All right, so we'll put a special link in the
because there's discounts
podcast
for new clients and other specials that my link would offer them too.
So that's an interesting thing when you say discount. Toxin-free makeup costs more, less, or about the same as poisonous makeup?
Okay, so it depends on which poisonous makeup you're using.
Okay.
Because if you went into CVS and bought a lip gloss for $5, that's less than what Crunchies would be.
Okay.
But if you went into the department store and got one from Estee Lauder, it's probably going to be more than that.
Okay.
And as far as from a clean beauty perspective, I would say that we're right around average.
Okay.
That it's not more or less, and for the benefits that
I think
you
of
receive.
Crunchy stuff like organic food.
Yes.
It's going to cost more. But you can either...
Maybe, yeah.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It's not a CVS price.
Exactly. That's true.
But you can, I was just in Kroger this week, and the organic limes and lemons, fresh thyme, are significantly more than the bag of other ones that are not cared for the same way. And so my theory is you can either pay the farmer now and help them do the right thing now, or you can pay the doctor later when you're managing some kind of tragic disease that you could have avoided by just doing a better job in the beginning.
Right. With those lifestyle choices.
100%.
And when you think about things that you're putting like lipstick or lip gloss, lipstick is notorious for having lead. So you're putting that on your lips over and over again, and you're getting lead poisoning. You're really creating a toxic situation from that perspective, not just endocrine disruption.
And all the colors and all
they're all
dyes
petroleum based.
Yeah. By the time of that, I referenced the Toxic Beauty movie. By the time that film was over and the evening was winding down, I was so furious.
I know.
Because they know.
So mad because
they know that things are going the wrong way, and they refuse to do anything about it legislatively. And the companies that are purporting these things, they know.
Yeah.
It's like the people who used to manufacture cigarettes.
Yeah.
And they know.
They know.
And people still buy it, right? So I'm not telling you it's going away. CVS will always be able to sell a $5 product.
Right, exactly. You know, the thing that I love about Crunchi is that it is not just about selling products, though. We are absolutely 100% educating our clients and our community so that they can make the choices. If we don't tell them, nobody's going to tell them. And once they know, they get to decide.
Right.
But it's so important for them to have the information so they can make those choices for themselves and their families. You know,
Agreed.
That's whatever it is, whether that's for vaccines, whether that's for clean beauty, whether that's for peptide therapies or chiropractic, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
You have to know. So I love that pillar of our community. It's just that education piece. It's so important. And for people, for new advocates that join, a lot of them don't know these things, but we have the support of the community to help educate them so they can educate others.
It is fun to watch new people come into the fold.
It's so fun, yes.
They just get lit up, like, oh my gosh. And then you guys do a fantastic job of supporting your newbies.
So many resources, educational tools, Facebook groups, but then calls where we can, you know, help others, whether it's one-on-one with somebody that you're mentoring.
But I don't want to, what if I'm not good at growing a business? What if I don't know what to say? What if I don't know what to do? Lisa, what would I do? How do I do this?
Well, what do you think I'm going to say?
I've heard some of these calls. Well, you have mentored so many women in this capacity, and they all start out thinking they can't do it. I just can't do it. And the next thing you know, they're rocking the boat.
Yeah. You know, it just starts just with one step at a time, just like anything else. It is building a business. So it's not like, I never tell anybody you're going to sign up and you're going to make $1 million. It's never that. You have to pour the energy into it to get anything out of it. I have so many advocates that join strictly for the discount, though. You know, they don't have to build a business to have the benefits of being
just
a Crunchi advocate.
The price reduction and the connection to community, and you don't have to grow a business.
No, not at all. They get 20% off their personal things they can share with their moms, sisters, daughters if they want to, or they don't have to. Right. You know, just enjoy it for themselves. And then we have others that are like, they join for that. They think they just want the discount, and then they start sharing it, and people start seeing their skin changing, and then people start asking, what are you doing? And then it just kind of propels itself, you know, forward. And then next level of leadership for them, you know, they were able to share more with them at that point. That's really so exciting for me. You know, I've had so many advocates that have been able to quit their 9-to-5s, and that's probably my favorite part.
Do you keep all the cards and thank you notes that you get?
I do.
That's a big box.
It's a big box, yeah.
Our mailbox has something in there all the time. And I'll see these little cutesy, and you know what they are. It's not a bill. It doesn't come in a window envelope. No. It comes in a little tiny envelope. Sometimes it's a full size, like thank you, or a, what do you call it, Hallmark card. Yeah, but not usually. So many people reach out and thank you just for sharing your time and attention and your love for what they do. And you've attracted a neat community.
I love it. I mean, they bring tears to my eyes every time. You know, it's just, but it's that connection. You know, it's true friendship that develops from that, and you know, people regaining health, also so important.
It fits right in with our life and our lifestyle and our life's mission.
Yeah. And, you know, for a lot of women, you can see it on the surface of their skin, and for others, it's deeper than that. But all huge benefits to being that.
What else?
Well, because of the 9-year Crunchiversary, Kelly and Melanie are offering $9 enrollments. So people that want to become, I know. Can you imagine?
I enroll.
Would you like to be my
No. I get the benefits by
I know, yeah, you're daylight all the time.
$9. So what would it be if it wasn't 9 years? Well, how much is it usually?
$49 usually.
It's only $49
Only
usually
$49.
Anyway?
Yep, but $40 off for their 9-year anniversary.
Okay, all right.
And that gets you the 20% discount,
Okay.
but it also gives you a link that you can share with others if you want to build a business or not.
Right.
But
for $9?
But for $9, yeah. I mean, it's really phenomenal.
Like you
And
can't
then
even get a
also-
pizza for $9.
I know. And then also just the support in the community. A lot of women are just looking for a place where they can go that there's like-minded people, or that they're just wanting to learn more. And this is an amazing community for that too. Yeah.
Super cool.
It is super cool. And it was fun that they made this offer while we were at retreat, because everybody was so jazzed up. And you do start thinking about all of the people that are yet to join. I always am praying for those people that are looking for like a family, but also for a resource to help them financially if they
I
need
always
it.
think about like when our daughter was dancing and how much makeup we had to use on a child before we knew this.
I know.
And so if I were going to doll up my little starlet now for a stage performance type of thing, once you know, you can't unknow.
That's right.
You can't unlearn it.
Yeah.
And so the question is, are you willing to do what it takes, not just for the look and the durability of the product, but for the health of the kid or the teenager who's now just starting to want to wear makeup, and can we start her off right and help her understand why it's a value, why it's important.
And younger, the kids are looking for, lip glosses and makeup and eyeshadow and a little mascara. And so having safe things for them to use is really important.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. I know that for Lily, as our dancer girl, she was using things, and I know that it did create a problem for her skin, and it was a horrible cycle.
Especially for teenagers whose hormones are already struggling to find the right way sometimes anyhow.
And we were going to the health food store and getting makeup there, but you might as well not have been.
It wasn't very well performing.
It was very low performing.
Sweat that right off.
It's like, what? No, and it was so expensive.
Okay.
Super expensive, super low performance. Right. And so, we've constantly been on a search. And so thankfully 9 years ago, Crunchi came along, and then 8 years ago, Lily found it and shared the message with me.
We have got anything else you want people to know about this?
No, I'm super excited. Anybody that would like information about the enrollment offer, this promotion that Kelly and Melanie have.
How long does it last?
Set up for us. It'll only be going till January 31st. So that's till tomorrow at midnight, based on this call. Okay. And then, but if you have any questions.
But it's only $49 even if you miss this call.
Even if you miss this call.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a phenomenal opportunity to help yourself and help other people too.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were you thinking?
Well, I just wanted to let people know we got some fun guests coming.
I know. I'm so excited.
Really
We've got like eight
people
or so lined up for the next couple of months. So super excited. So they probably won't see you and I alone again for a little while.
So we just want to squeeze one in. Sometimes it's just fun on a Sunday. Sunday fun day.
I love you, babe.
Let's go have pizza.
All right.
I love you back.
I love you.
I love you back.
You going to kiss my hand?
Yes, I am. That's right on cue. Oh, how did I not know?
He does that every morning before he leaves for work. It's the sweetest thing ever.
Thankfully, we can edit certain things out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. True. Anyway, what should they do otherwise?
Yeah. Subscribe, like, and follow.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Ta-da. Oh, let's eat.
Let's eat.